Hi, welcome to our webinar and thank you for spending the time. My name is Aaron and I'm Aliya from Los Angeles, California. I'm from Blue and White Finance. Together with my partner Nadav, we're going to tell you all about how to use this tool and really benefit from it. Before jumping in, I wanted to tell you a bit of why we partnered with Shivat Zion and Nefesh B'Nefesh to build this tool for you. When making Aliya, part of having a successful journey is having a plan, having a good understanding of your expectations. What are things going to cost? How do you plan for it accordingly? And that's why we partner together with these organizations that are with you for every step of the way throughout your Aliya journey to build a tool that can help you make proper forecasts, that can help you set proper expectations and to really build that plan. So with that, I'm excited to hand it over to Nadav to take it away. Tell us about this tool, how to use it effectively, and how to really build your Aliya plan.
Thanks very much, Aaron. We're extremely excited to have partnered with Nefesh B'Nefesh and Shivat Zion to create the Oleh Budgeting Calculator, because we've seen how important it is for new Olim to plan effectively and to set realistic expectations about what finances might look like right after Aliyah. And this calculator allows you to answer simple lifestyle questions and will then automatically produce for you an estimate of what your expenses might look like after Aliyah. You can then take that output, and you can also use another tool that we have available at bluewhitefinance.com/free. You can get access to this tool here, the Employee Net Income Calculator, to get a bit of a sense as to what kind of income you'll need to earn to be able to cover those expenses after taxes and after retirement savings are automatically deducted. In terms of planning, when you're thinking about the stages of your finances after Aliyah, we generally recommend to think about it in 3 separate stages. In the first 6 months, you may have a job lined up, you may not. You may be relying on the Sol Klita, the absorption basket, and you might have saved up a certain amount before you made Aliyah to get you through that first period. Those first 6 months are really an adjustment period. And as long as you plan effectively beforehand, it's okay if you're either eating into some of your savings, and certainly okay to not necessarily be saving significantly for the future. Over the first 2 years, you want to make sure you get to a state where at least you're covering expenses on an ongoing basis from the income that you're able to bring in. And then beyond the first 2 years, you have to be able to not just cover your expenses, but also think about future goals, future savings. The nice thing in Israel is that retirement for employees in Israel happens quite automatically, and healthcare and schooling isn't that expensive. But families are often putting away money to be able to pay for bar mitzvahs and to pay for weddings, to be able to go on trips, and to be able to help out their kids when they grow up. For example, with a down payment on a house, because housing here is particularly expensive, as we'll see. And so thinking about these stages and keeping that in mind as we go through this budget and as you create your own budget can be really important. Now we're going to dive into the platform. You can find the Oleh Budgeting Calculator at israelbudget.com, and I'll show you how to log in, how to navigate the platform, and then we're going to run realistic scenarios to have a look at what it looks like for a single individual and what their expenses might look like, for a family, and also for a retired couple. So I'm going to invite Aaron to join me again, and we will log into the platform and take a look at our first scenarios. Welcome back, Aaron. So let's log in. You don't have to remember any passwords. Click on Get Started, and then you can enter in your email address and press Sign In. A token or a one-time code will be sent to your email. Okay, so in the email, you can copy the one-time code, put it into the calculator, and we are logged in to the platform. Any numbers that you enter here will be saved in your account. You can also, over here under the detailed budget, you can also export your results as PDF, or you can have the PDF sent to your email, so you can choose how you want to save your results. When you first log in, you've got the choice as to which language you would like to use to view the calculator in. We're going to remain in English for our demo right now, but we've got a wide range of different languages, and we want to make sure that Olim from all around the world can use the calculator. In the same way, you can choose which currencies to either enter the numbers in for when you are prompted to enter certain amounts, and you can also choose in which currency to view the results. So today I'm going to be entering the amounts in US dollars, but viewing the results in shekels. And even if you start using one currency, right in the middle or at the end, you can switch over. Let's say you want to also view the results in US dollars. You can switch that over and everything will update automatically. Okay, we are good to go. So you can see that there are sections here for entering all of the information that's relevant to you and your family. We're going to start by entering in that information, and afterwards I'll show you how to read the results. Family size and details. All right, Aaron, can you tell me a bit about yourself?
So for this purpose, I'll be a single person living in Givat Shmuel, and I've got no kids, and we'll start there.
Okay, cool. So we'll start doing a budget for a single individual who's made Aliya, maybe they're 23 years old, and we will enter simply one adult aged 18 to 50, no children, and we're finished with that section. Housing, are you going to be buying or renting?
Renting. That's all I can handle for now.
Okay, so let's just talk about region first. Now, in this version of the calculator, which is going to be updated in a few months, in this version, you choose which region of the country you are planning to live in, from most expensive to least expensive. If the exact city doesn't appear here, then you can choose a region that seems to be close enough to the pricing of where you'll ultimately be living. In the new version, we're going to see a list of all of these cities so that we can get a little bit more granularity as to the pricing of each of these cities, because these are quite wide groups. And there as well, we won't have every city in the country, but it'll be ordered from most expensive to least expensive, and you can choose which city is closest in value, in cost, to where you're planning on moving to. So Aaron, with roommates?
No roommates for now.
No roommates for now. Okay. So let's assume you'll have a small place. There's one bedroom, not splitting with roommates. And you just made Aliya, so you're eligible for Aliya benefits in your first year.
Fresh off the boat.
Yep. And will it be like a tall building or?
I imagine all the buildings there seem pretty tall. And last time I looked, yeah.
Okay, cool. And we're renting.
Yep.
So we can see as we go that the results on the right-hand side update automatically. Until you're finished, don't pay too much attention to the total. But since we've just finished doing the housing, the rent and mortgage, we can already get a sense. We can see the rent might cost $4,500. Afterwards, perhaps we'll have a look at what it would cost you with roommates, and if you do want to bring down your budget a bit, and we can play with that. In terms of education, so you don't have children, we don't have to worry about the costs around children. If you are studying yourself, then we'd add a unique cost for you down the bottom. Will we assume that you'll get a car?
Public transportation, I think, makes more sense.
All right, so 0 cars, and we'll just assume one adult using public transportation multiple times per week, and children are not using public transportation. With regards to health, public dentists.
I'm used to a private dentist back in America. Maybe we should try with that for.
All right, so let's go on with private dentist. One of the important things is that you can start with things that you're used to from where you're from, but also play with the different options, because things are different in Israel. And there's a large segment of Olim that use private dentists, and there's a large segment that use public dentists. Glasses or gym membership?
One person.
All
Yeah,
right.
both 1-to-1. 1-and-1.
All right, we'll add both in. Okay, excellent. So do you have lots of subscription services? You can see if we hover here, and this, by the way, is true of many of the sections. If there's an eye icon, you can hover, and we can see, Spotify and maybe storage online, and mindfulness apps. How much in dollars? Because we're entering numbers in dollars today. How much in dollars?
Let's say $100.
$100. Okay, that's quite a lot. how often do you order in, go out to eat?
Once a week.
Once a week is probably good to start with. And do you spend a lot of money on clothing?
No, not at all. Very low.
All right. I mean, if we were to put here $50 a month, that's about $600 a year. It's high, about right.
It's a bit high, probably.
Probably high, right? Let's go half of that.
Okay.
Okay. Do you find your expenses go up significantly around the Chagim?
Not too much.
Not necessarily. Are you planning to take trips overseas?
Yeah. Well, I would take a trip to visit family back in the States once a year. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gone up since Saturday.
Yeah, let's put in $2,000. I'm going to assume you're not going to have a cleaner, and we're not going to worry yet about debt or other savings, at least at this scenario. And do you give charity regular?
I try to. I probably should do a better job. But yeah, once in a while.
All right, so maybe about $50 a month. Okay, let's see where we landed. Let's see what your overall budget is. You notice?
A little bit.
All right, we're going to scroll up. 11,300 shekels per month. Now, I don't know if that means anything to you,
Yeah.
but if you've started talking to friends about kind of what you can earn in a month doing different jobs, you could probably earn this, depending on what industry you're in. You would have to earn about 12.5, 13,000 shekels before tax in order to take home this amount. And for some, that's perfectly fine. For others, that's potentially a bit high. And I want to show you what kind of tweaks it would take to bring this down a little bit further for those people that are watching that want to start frugally.
Yeah, just to point out that I'm fresh off the boat, so I'm very used to dollars. But this is super helpful to start understanding my actual budget in shekels, to start getting used to this currency and really get comfortable with that. So that's really a great feature, I think, of this calculator.
Cool. Thank you. So we can see here, if we just take a look on the side, rent is one of the most expensive things that we have here. We also have quite a bit here around shopping, a few other areas. So firstly, I'm going to say, how much can we save by having you live in a 3-bedroom place with 2 other roommates? Okay. So immediately your rent is cut in half. We get down to just over 8,000. So there are a few other things that'll bring it down. Generally, the larger buildings have higher building maintenance fees, vad bayit. So we can think about bringing that down, going back to a public dentist. Some people wouldn't necessarily have a gym membership, maybe something more average for subscriptions. This kind of budget, 7,700, is a frugal budget for a single person living with roommates. Great. So do you have any questions about this budget or anything that you wanted to see in detail in terms of the breakdown before we look at another scenario?
I think this is great. I mean, the truth is, I actually am a lot older than I look. And I am married. I do have kids, and I'm now retired. And I'd like to look at that scenario if we could.
Okay. All right. We have fast forwarded in time, many, many decades. We're going to now adjust this for a retired couple who arrives in Yerushalayim and maybe starts out by renting. Great. Okay. So let's go from the top. We're going to move the couple to Yerushalayim. Oh, no, we have to add another person. So we've got 2 people aged above 51.
Well, the grandkids visit a lot. Does that count, or I should not be including them?
It's a good question. I think that we will not include them up here because there are all sorts of automatic things that happen in the calculator when you add people in. The food costs automatically jump up as if there's a full person living at home. Also, all sorts of other areas of the budget automatically update. So for a scenario like that, we'll probably just add in a lump sum. We'll have to take a bit of a guess as to how that will change.
Especially around the Chagim.
Especially around the Chagim. Yeah. Okay, so we've updated the number of people and the location. 3-bedroom apartment.
It sounds good.
No roommates. eligible for benefits in the first year of Aliya. The main benefits that you'll see in the calculator that are updated when you select yes here are, number one, a significant discount on municipal taxes on Arlona. And also, when we have a look at the startup expenses and startup cash flow for the beginning when you first arrive, the calculator will do an automatic estimation of how much money you'll get from the absorption basket from the Salklita when we select yes over here. Let's assume it'll be one of the maybe more modern buildings, and we're going to start out by renting. I think we'll add in a... you're not sure?
Not sure. What do you think? Let's try it. See what happens.
Let's put in a car. We'll see whether, the final amount seems
It
reasonable.
just really scares me driving in this city, It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Very much so.
I'm not as young as I used to be.
Okay, so we generally recommend for people that are looking to not spend too much on cars, because cars are really expensive here, to buy a used car that's a number of years old. Is that something that you're used to? Have you typically done that before? Or you think you don't want to have the headache and you'll probably go for a new car?
At least in the past. So I think it just might be more affordable to get a used car. And hopefully we'll see if that can help.
Okay, so let's take a look at that. Let's assume cash up front and local driving. Now you'll see here that when I changed to one car, it gave me information, it gave me cells to enter information about one car, and I can go up to more cars as well. If I go to 2 cars, then I can enter information about the second car as well. Okay, let's assume there's a little bit of public transport on top of driving, and I'll update some of these. We'll say private dentist, assuming that 2 people need glasses. Maybe there's one kind, and maybe a pool membership, that kind of thing. Subscriptions are probably reasonable. Would you perhaps eat out more often?
Probably twice a week. Yeah.
We'll go twice a week.
I don't like to cook too much.
Yeah. How about clothes shopping? $200 a month is like $2,400 a year.
Oh, that sounds good.
I think we'll go with that. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Number 28.
Yes.
A
So
lot more
all the
family crumbs. We have lots of big
Yeah.
family makeup.
and then travel. So do you guys travel a lot?
We're getting a little older, so we're traveling less. But we also have a lot of time. So yeah, at least once a year, I would say we'd like to go on a trip.
Yeah. So maybe we'll put here $7,000. You'll probably want to get a cleaner.
Yes, for sure.
That's good. It's a week. Okay, so now we can have a look at what charity, additional expenses we didn't account for, and other unique expenses. Maybe, I don't know if you're supporting any family or giving regular gifts to people in your family.
We can add that here if that's relevant in these different sections.
Yeah, so we can either put things aside for investing and saving. If will be having some kind of simcha coming up in the family that you'll be covering. Otherwise, we'll just put in an additional amount here to cover having the children over as well as...
Yeah, that'd be helpful to put a little bit of amount just to budget for those extra weeks where the house is full. Sometimes I have to buy a little extra takeout for Shabbos.
Yeah, I'm going to put $1,000.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we saw before for the single individuals where they were largely a lot more frugal than the scenario that we've laid out here. We were like 7,000 to 10,000 shekels. We're now looking at about 27,000 shekels.
We give a little bit more charity than that, I should also say.
Oh, yeah.
So we could put that into the budget also.
Okay, cool. So
300.
300.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. 28,000 shekels. And you can see the breakdown here, right? How much rent is going to cost, the utilities and the city taxes. The items that are once per year are broken down under the seasonal section. So you can see that gifts, vacation, chagim are broken down monthly, but taking into account what the cost would be over the whole year at the relevant point in the year. Great. So I think we've got a good budget there. Great. I'm going to take this opportunity before we jump over maybe to look at the family to just show you other ways of viewing the results within the calculator. So far, we've stayed on the questions inputs page where you can see a very good view of the results themselves, but you can also go to the detailed budget page where there is an opened, expanded full breakdown of every one of the sections. There's also a chart in this view, very similar to what we saw before, but just a little bit more interactive, showing you the expenses breakdown. And then startup expenses, which we haven't seen yet, shows us very approximately how much money you might need to get going. And so in this case, we've got an estimate around home setup, and that will change depending if you're sending a lift and how much you're bringing yourself. But assuming that you need to purchase everything that's required for the house, this might be considered roughly an average, although there's a lot of variability. This couple is going to be renting, and typically if you use a real estate agent, you'll pay them about 1 month rent as a fee. We said that you'll be buying the car up front, so we've got that amount. And then, so those three amounts add up to the total startup expenses. But on the positive column, we have the Sal Klita credit, how much you'll be getting in about 6, 7, 8 payments over the first 6 months of arriving in Israel. And so after using the Sal Klita credit, assuming that maybe you would put that towards some of these startup expenses, we've got the final number down here. So that's in terms of kind of the sum that you'll want to begin with. And when you're planning your savings before Aliya, you have to work out 3 stages. How much you need to get over here, including the lift, which we don't have here. This is really focused on after you get off the boat. Number 2, how much you need for startup expenses. And number 3, whether you need any sum to be able to supplement income to cover expenses before you're able to cover expenses from ongoing income. So make sure you keep those 3 in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at a family. Tell me a bit about your family.
Great. So I've actually been living here for quite a few years. I'm not right off the boat. I'm really used to shekels at this point. Could we start by doing it in shekel?
Sounds good.
Seeing the results in shekel and actually the inputs in shekel too.
Yep.
Great. All right, so I have 3 kids.
How many in each of these categories?
So 1 and 2.
1 and 2. 2 adults.
Yep.
Okay.
0.
0, thank you.
All right, so I'm actually living in the periphery outside of Yerushalayim, quieter, nice, peaceful side of the countryside, I would say.
Yeah, so kind of group 4 for
Group 4, maybe even group 5. Group 4 is probably more reasonable because it is close to Yerushalayim. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what kind of size place?
Size is 4 bedrooms.
4 bedrooms. Not within the first year of Aliya. No. Okay. Renting, or are we looking at purchase, like a mortgage cost?
Yeah, I like the idea of buying. I live in a small town, and I want to make sure I can stay there.
Okay.
I don't have to jump around.
So let's take a look at buy. Buy is a little bit more complex here. When we click on buy, the first thing you can do is you can hover on the information icon here, and it'll show you in the currency you've chosen to enter the amounts in, how much we're estimating that size place would cost in the region that you have chosen. So in this case, you can see 2.6 million shekels.
Okay.
Now, you'll have a certain amount of cash down, and then you'll have a certain mortgage to be able to cover this 2.6 as well as the associated costs involved in buying the place. So maybe give me kind of the amount of cash that you think you've got towards this.
Yeah, so we've been saving for a few years. Also have some family help contributing towards this. Let's say 600,000 set aside specifically for down payment.
Okay, cool. So you can also use this to kind of have a look at what that'll mean in terms of the mortgage. So let's just check that. The mortgage is relatively high, just depending on your family income.
Yeah.
That'll give you a 12,000 shekel mortgage. Do we want to run with that, or
let's try to, I guess, put a little bit more down to try to reduce the mortgage, maybe 750.
Okay.
I think we can.
Yeah, we'll have a small impact.
Small impact.
Let's put a million.
Okay.
Okay, you'll come up with another 400,000 shekel from somewhere.
We'll find it. Or we might go back to renting. One of the two.
One of the two.
Okay.
Okay, So education. So now we can take a look at your kids. Can I assume correctly it kind of aligns? So like 1 in ma'on, 2 in afternoon care, 2 in after school activities.
Perfect.
Game?
That works.
Great.
We're going to use one car.
One car? Okay.
Guest works from home. Yeah, I think that's one car is totally reasonable.
Okay, cool. One of the things that you often have to consider when you're living out in the periphery is a lot of families that would have one car in the center often go to 2 cars, but it really depends on.
Depends on where you work and how much you commute, but yeah, certainly an option.
Yeah, exactly.
Use for sure.
All right, so well, and there'll probably be quite a bit more driving.
Well, the car is used.
We'll go with that. Okay. A little public transport, maybe a little for kids.
Okay. Take your word for it.
Okay. Are we ready to switch to public dentist?
Yeah, I think we can bring down whatever we can do to bring down this budget would be great.
Okay, good. Glasses?
2.
2. Gym memberships?
No, we've got the great outdoors.
Nice. You don't have to pay for those hikes. Subscriptions, maybe a little higher. Eating out?
Very rarely, I would say. I mean, we just don't have much near us, so
Okay.
keep things cheap.
Good. All right, just clothing budget with your family of 5.
Right. Kids are expensive, but we do share a lot on the issue of lots of different people sharing their clothes, passing down from kids to kids.
Yep.
So we can maybe bring that down a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we're in shekels now. So
All right.
also for subscriptions, we were in shekels. So these are things that you have to be.
If you're making these changes, right, you have to be sure.
Yeah. Now, most people won't change the input currency as they're going. But if we're in subscriptions, and let's go like 100 shekel and amount on clothes per month, let's put 500.
Okay.
Yeah. Expenses go up around Chagim.
Yeah.
Do you do many trips, vacation, travel?
Not so often.
So like maybe 5,000 shekel for something in Israel.
Okay. Yeah, local. No.
Yeah. Cleaner?
Never.
Never. All right. So now let's take a look maybe at saving debt. Now take into account that, assuming that you're employed in Israel, maybe retirement is dealt with. Are there other longer term savings that you?
We do still try to put away 500 each month towards non-term goals.
500 shekels
Help a month.
And what about like upcoming things like your kids?
We've got a while, we've got young kids. We've got a while to the weddings, but we do like to put money aside for maybe one big vacation that we might do at some point. So maybe 100 shekels a month towards stuff like that.
Okay, sure. Any debts?
Not yet. We'll see with the excluding the mortgage, but yeah.
Yeah. And charity target?
We do try to give 10% of our income. So let's say we try to give 350 shekel a month.
Okay. And anything that we haven't accounted for?
For now, yeah, I think it was pretty comprehensive. Let's get
But hey, let's see where we're at. You want to take a guess?
I'm too scared with that mortgage. We have to switch to rent right away, but let's look at it.
I think you must be at 30.
32. Yeah, there we go.
Very good. Okay, so about 32,000, which isn't necessarily surprising with a higher mortgage.
Yeah, can we see the rent scenario if we decide housing is just not practical, right?
Yeah, well, rent especially kind of out in the periphery is going to be quite a lot less. So where are we? Up here at the top. So rent, mortgage, we can see 10,000. So it goes down by like 40%.
Significant.
And that sometimes can be very significant because remember that because the tax rates, when you take into account Bituach Leumi here, which translates to Social Security, but it's really just another tax. The tax rates here, once you get up to these kind of salary levels, are 50%. And so every 1,000 shekel you can save on your budget is 2,000 shekel less that you have to earn. So certainly those kind of differences can be really, really significant. especially when you're just finding that extra 1,000 or 2,000 shekel to put aside to begin investing, to be able to create for yourself your emergency fund and all the healthy financial habits that hopefully maybe you've got already and that you'll want to maintain after you move to Israel.
Excellent. So now you've seen a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different options. You can use this tool to plug in your own lifestyle, to plug in your own to reflect your own family and your own choices. And you can really get such a good detailed breakdown of what you can expect. How do you set those proper expectations?
And we'll be updating the underlying numbers here about once a year. So when you're using this calculator, it's always going to be aligned, at least somewhat. Obviously, even within a city, there's a wide variety of rents and mortgage, rent and property prices. It's hard to get very, very precise, but it'll give you a really good estimate of what a budget might look like, and it'll be up to date with the rising cost of living here in Israel.
So if you scroll up to the top of this website, you'll see that our logos are there, and you can click on the different websites to access different resources. All three of our organizations, Blue and White Finance, Shivat Zion, and Nefesh B'Nefesh, are dedicated to putting out lots of great resources for Olim. You can see that we all put out lots of guides, lots of great content, and stuff to really help you plan. And you can access the sites easily from the top of this website and really gain access to our guides and keep progressing with your planning and your Aliya journey.
If we can help with anything, feel free to reach out. All the details are on our website. You can also follow on LinkedIn to see our regular posts and updates about the financial situation here in Israel. Please enjoy using the calculator, and we really hope that it helps you in your Aliyah planning and your successful Aliyah.